Dear students, welcome to our class on uh, crop planning. Crop planning for climate change. Crop planning for climate change. So this is a very interesting. I understand that this is a basic course. It's a fundamental course, and then you are also in the first year or maximum second year, depending upon the university this course is offered. So crop planning for climate change is a very interesting topic, and it is included in the practical. So that's why I am covering in the practical, real practical. I would like to share with you. So now, climate is defined as, weather is defined as, I have told several times. Still, for your academic, weather is defined as a state or condition of the atmosphere at a particular place and at a given instant of time. Climate is the generalized weather or summation of weather conditions over a given region during a comparatively longer period. So, weather goes on changing, therefore, the summation of weather is climate. Climate goes on changing, nobody can stop it. Okay? So, what are the factors that are influencing the climate change? First one, land use change. Second one, fossil fuel burning. What for land use is changed? Urbanization, land converted to agriculture, deforestation, etc. Impermeable air. Okay, land use change is occurring. What is the fossil fuel burning? Fossil fuels are burned for transportation. Okay, fossil fuels are also burned for the chemicals and fertilizer production. Fossil fuels are also burned for the industry purposes, for heating and cooling. So, with reference to fossil fuel burning, as far as the transportation is concerned, road, rail, air, and sea, that is marine. So for all these things, the land use is getting changed, fossil fuels are burned, therefore through greenhouse effect, the globe is getting warmed up. Once the globe is getting warmed up through of course, a greenhouse effect, there are some consequences. I am not saying everything is the wrong consequences. Majority or most of them are the wrong consequences. So, as far as Asia is concerned, okay, there is a change in the monsoon circulation, which is lifeline, blood blood flowing for the agriculture. That is monsoon. Second thing, diseases occurring. Third one, coastal areas inundation, and of course water entering into the land masses, therefore biodiversity is lost. Subsistence farming is at stake, and which humanity cannot accept. That is the movement of the people from the coastal areas to other areas, which no human being can accept, leaving his known native place. So land use change, fossil fuel burning through greenhouse effect, globe is getting warmer. These are all the consequences. Now, let us confine our class to only crop planning. Just for crop planning. What is the crop planning for climate change? If climate change is occurring. Now, specific weather-related effects. Specific weather-related effects or specific climate change effects on some weather elements. First, we should understand what is the first weather element? Temperature. How changes in the temperature affects. How water availability affects. How wind affects. How PAR, photosynthetic active radiation affects. How finally elevated CO2 affects. This first we understand. Then we go for some good examples. Now, for as far as temperature is concerned, a slight increase in the CO2 concentration, a slight increase in the CO2 concentration increases the temperature of globe, lithosphere and hydrosphere. So that small change will have large impact as far as crops are concerned. Say for example, if you take a day, today is the 16th of February 2022, for example, maximum temperature is 30, minimum temperature is 10. Good, very good. Crops will go definitely. Now, if over a period of time, what is the definition of climate change? Let us understand. A change in the state of climate. Climate change means a change in the state of climate that persists for a decade or longer. Now here, the CO2 ppm increase in the atmosphere, maybe because of hydrofluorocarbons, perfluorocarbons, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, what not everything. So many sources are there. Okay. Now, A slight increase in the CO2, what it causes? It increases the surface temperature of the globe, both lithosphere and hydrosphere. There, if now, half minute back, what I said, today is 16th of February 2022. Now, the maximum temperature is 30, minimum temperature is 10. Let us try. So, over a period of 10 years, past 10 years, if this minimum temperature is increasing from 8 to 10, that means there is a substantial increase of minimum temperature by 2 degrees centigrade. Definition of climate change. Climate change is defined as a change in the state of climate that persists for a decade or longer. So, for the last 10 years, there is an increase in the 2 degrees centigrade, the minimum temperature, which otherwise would have been 5. Now, it is 10. Now, that minimum temperature increase in the night, usually it occurs in the night, it causes very, very, very damaging effects on the crop. What are all the photosynthesis that are produced during the day, they are consumed during the photosynthesis, and dark reactions and crop yields are reduced. So, increase in the minimum temperature of particular during the night. Suppose there is an increase in the daytime temperature. What will happen? Daytime temperature increases in the northern pole, definitely is good. So that more area for cultivation. But in the middle latitude, increase in the temperature, daytime temperature, reduces the crop growth period. Even in the tropics also, reduction in the crop growth, which otherwise would have been 125 days or 120 days, reduce it to 120. So, reduce it to 110 or even 105 days. So, it reduces the crop yields. These are the effects of temperature. Before we go for crop planning, we should understand temperature effects. Now, let's go to water availability effects. Water availability means, water. Whenever we think of water, there is a drought, there is a flood, and time of availability. Okay, these are the 3 things we should take into consideration as far as the crop planning is concerned. Again, I would like to say, is there any drought? Are there any floods? What is the availability of time? At what time what is going to be available? This is very, very important. Now, certainly it is proved beyond doubt that increase in the temperature, whether it is daytime or nighttime, increases the evapotranspiration in the crops. So, therefore, the water availability requirements are heavy. So, these are the specific weather-related effects with reference to water availability. Previous temperature. Third one is the wind effect. Wind. Air in its horizontal motion is known as wind. Wind is the only weather element which carries 2 things, water vapor and heat. Water vapor and heat, energy. Water vapor and energy are carried by only weather element. No other weather element has capability to carry these 2. So that wind is very, very essential as far as pollination is concerned. Wind, as far as crop planning is concerned, we should see wind from the viewpoint of occurrence of particularly diseases. Pests are also there. Diseases. So, spores transportation. Okay. Lethal effects on the crops. So, for example, as far as the potato crop is concerned, moderate wind speeds are always beneficial for potato. It will never be affected by blight. This is one thing. Innumerable examples. An orchard is there which has grown for 20 years. Heavy winds, maybe 120 kilometers per hour, just devastates an orchard which was hard built, okay, by the farmer. Orchard, branches mechanically damaged, fruits, immature fall of the fruit drop, or if a flowering is there, all the flower. So these are all the effects of the wind. So as far as crop planning for climate change, wind effects. Why wind effects are causing due to climate change? Here is the heat waves and cold waves. This is very important. Heat waves and cold waves. So the occurrence of heat waves and cold waves is not in anybody's hand. It all depends upon the energy availability. If it is a winter season, okay, cold wave. If it is a summer season, warm. That is heat waves. So nobody can stop it. So these are the effects of winds. As far as the temperature effects, we discuss water availability from drought, floods, and also from the viewpoint of the availability of the water. Wind effects we discussed just now. PAR. What is PAR? Photosynthetic activation. 0.4 to 0.7 micron. VIBCY are there. 41% of energy is there. Here, PAR is affected. Certainly, there was some controversy whether PAR is affected by climate. Yes. Truthfully, as far as India Meteorological Department is concerned, they found that because of the climate change, particularly in the northern parts of India, there is a paper, PAR is substantially decreased, 41% of the total spectrum. There, once it is reduced, what will happen? When PR is reduced, where is the where are the photons for this carbohydrates formation? Okay, carbon dioxide should be reduced to carbohydrates in the photosynthesis. PR is reduced. As far as crop planning is concerned, PR we should see from the viewpoint of if a monocrop is there is no problem. If grasslands are there, there are no problem. However, if you go for intercropping, sunflower with groundnut, there is a problem of PAR availability because sunflower is a relatively 3.5 feet crop. Groundnut is 1.5 to 2 feet crop. So intercropping or mixed cropping or relay cropping. Okay, then we have to take care of PAR with respect to crop planning for climate change is concerned because PR is changing. Definitely we should go for crop planning in keeping in view PR. Now finally elevated CO2, several times we discussed CO2, increase in the CO2 in the atmosphere causes, no doubt temperature, increase in the CO2 causes fertilization effect. That means more biomass, more possibly yield also, but quality is a question. It is anticipated as far as C4 plants is concerned. I would like to give you C4 plants are concerned. Okay, C4. What are the C4 plants? Maize, sorghum, pearl millet. Okay, 10 to 25% for C4 crops and 30 to 50% for the C3 crops is the ideal conditions for photosynthesis, even for the fertilization. That means C3 crops, rice, wheat, 30 to 50% increase in the fertilization. That means biomass. As far as C4, maize, sorghum, sugarcane, pearl millet, these are concerned, 10 to 25% increase in the biomass production. Biomass production naturally increases the yield, but the quality is the question. Now, finally, very interesting thing I would like to discuss with you for 1.5 minutes is that, okay, this is what? Examples of potential agricultural adaptations at various scales. Examples of potential agricultural adaptation at various scales. What are the scales generally available? Global scale, national scale, regional scale, local scale and farm scale. I repeat twice. Global scale, national scale, regional scale, local scale at the farm level. I come from the bottom to up. Farm level, local level, regional level, national level and global level. So what are the examples of potential agricultural adaptation? What are the things that as agricultural meteorologists should recommend? Now let us go to first global level. Very simple thing I will tell. As far as the global level is concerned, only one measure is suggested by experts on climate change. Okay, what is that? Shifting centers of production. Shifting centers of production in the global. In the agricultural heritage course I have given old, new centers of production. Of course, in the context of climate change, we should go for shifting of centers of crop and animal production. That's what essential. Global level only one. Good. Now at the national level, regional level, because certain nations are very small, certain regions are very small. So at the national level, regional level, there are 4 recommendations. At the national level and the regional level, first recommendation for potential agricultural production is land allocation, labor supply and demand, balance of food and non-food crops, policy to support farm level adaptation. I repeat once again and explain to you. At the national and regional level, 4 are recommended for potential agricultural adaptation. Now, first you should look at the land allocation for agriculture and animals. Land allocation first. In certain countries, land may be allocated, may not be. So first thing, you should allocate the land. Second thing, labor supply and demand. If more wages are there in X place, in agriculture where there are no wages, what is the labor supply and demand? First, land allocation, labor supply and demand. Third one is the balance of food and non-food crop. What are the food crops? Cereals, pulses, oilseeds. Non-food crop. What are the non-food crops? Castor, for example. Okay, castor. Oh, that is a crop which is a commercial crop. Like there's so many jute too. Commercial crops are there. So many. Well, of course, I need that. This is the basic course. So here, the policy to support farm level adaptations. Now, all said and done, it should be the willpower of the policy makers for adapting to the climate change. So, policy to apply the recommendations. Now, first we discussed globally. What are the global potential agriculture of global level? We should shift the centers of production of crops in animals. Second thing, as far as national and regional level we discussed. Now let us go to the third one. It is at the local level. Local means 2 or 3 villages or even a single village. In that village, what we should do? Type of farming. Which type of farming you are going for? Rotations, crop rotations, okay, cereal, pulse, commercial crop like crop rotations, crop mixed cropping, a cereal crop, a pulse crop, an oilseed crop, mix it and broadcast it, balance of cash versus food crops like national and regional level, and finally water management. What are the resources of water? Whether it is available in the irrigation canal, whether it is available in the irrigation tanks, a combination of tanks and irrigation canals from a river, or you can say water availability in the underground, or a combination of underground water and a tank water is there. So we should look for the climate change as at the local level is concerned. Again, I would like to impress upon you 4 recommendations are there at the local level. First one is the type of farming, crop rotations, mixed cropping and availability of the water. And finally, at the farm level, farmer has got 10 acres of land. At the farm level, what he should do? He should select the variety, best variety. He should look at the water availability. He should also look at the varietal selection, crop selection, varietal selection. Okay, crop selection, varietal selection. Similarly, animal breed selection and timing of the activity, which Kharif season, Rabi season, summer season, timing of the activity, that is the date of sowing. Finally, water conservation technique at the farm level. Farmer should conserve the moisture. These are the things that I would like to discuss with you with respect to examples of potential agricultural adaptation at various levels. Global, regional, national and regional levels, local level, that means village level, and finally the farm level. For climate change, for crops, animals to rear profitably, these are the recommendations. Thanking you for your patient hearing.